What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again. Um, indeed, this is my final upload for this day. Um, and I wanted to retouch on the subject because I think that this is something that a lot of people really aren't familiar with, or for sake of reasoning, I should say that the public and the corrupt commercial system doesn't really want you to know that you have rights. Now, before I proceed, as I always say in my videos, majority of the time, if you're watching this video around children, please remove them from your immediate vicinity, as my videos are not for children, as so stated in the video claim. This does not constitute legal advice, nor does it constitute anything anti-government. The sole purpose is for informational and educational purposes only. Now, indeed, I will tell you that what I'm getting ready to say is going to be highly controversial to most people. And when I say most, I'm just saying in regards to people who are otherwise overly indoctrinated or really don't know very much about the subject. And it's called the enforcement of trademark copyright, or better yet, trademark copyright and the enforcement thereof. Now, a lot of people do not understand when they talk about copyrighting something. They're looking at it as a sense of a statutory provision, which was the copyright laws established in 1970. This is in regards to intellectual property, i.e., books, movies, and anything of the like. You see what I'm saying? That can be either plagiarized or remade or whatever. Whether you believe it or not, if you are my age or older, or even if younger, if you understand many films and videos and movies and even songs we've listened to, although it hasn't been made public knowledge, has been subject to many legal battles, many of which we are very aloof to, but that had to deal with intellectual property. So if you haven't really heard about these incidents, unless they always contain an extravagant or exorbitant amount of money, then you would pay little to no attention to it. You know, it's people going through lawsuits right now that you know little to nothing about, especially with the non-disclosure agreements and of the like. It's the same thing. And also to mention, a lesser known trademark copyright is called the common law copyright. This is not a statutory copyright governed by the laws of 1970 Copyright Infringement Act. This is what common law is, people. And let me read it from a legal perspective and not my own conjecture. Common law copyright is a legal doctrine that protects original works through judicial decisions rather than statutory law. Judicial decisions. It applies to works from the moment they are created and provides the following protections. Number one, exclusive use. The creator has the right to control the work before publication. 2, protection from unauthorized use. The creator can prevent others from copying or using the work without permission. And number 3 is perpetual, meaning in forever and continuance. Common law copyright lasts indefinitely, unlike statutory copyright, which is limited to a set number of years. Common law copyright is distinct from statutory copyright, and the two do not coexist in the same work, which means they're not synonymous, which means they're not the same. A common law copyright ends when a statutory copyright begins. The 1976 amendments from the 1970 enforcement of the Act, the amendment, the Copyright Act, abolished common law copyright and most state copyright laws. Now, here's a double negative. It says a common law copyright ends when a statutory copyright begins. This is a problem for most people, but it's not that much of a hurdle. So I don't want you to become disingenuous or, morose about the fact of the matter is just that a statute does not override copyright, common law, or common law copyright. A statute does not override. Notice what it says. You have to pay close attention to the legalese and the jargon in between. As they say, read between the lines. It says common law copyright is distinct from statutory copyright, and the two do not coexist. So common law is over here and statutory is over here. But it is kind of a contradictory statement for it to be stated that a common law copyright ends when a statutory copyright begins. In other words, what does this mean? This means that you would otherwise have to surrender your common law copyright and go underneath statutory provisions, which means that the two, since they don't coexist, are distinctly different. So when you have a common law copyright, you are unencumbered by statutory set regulations and provisions. Is it saying that you cannot use a common law copyright? Absolutely not. Is it saying that a statutory copyright is superior to a common law copyright? Absolutely not, because the two don't coexist. One's over here, one's oil, one's water. The two should never meet. So people who often go by the statutory provisions of trying to actually do a copyright are, according to the statutory provisions, are basically saying, hey, particularly, I want to go under statutory. But you're limiting yourself, because if someone violates or infringes upon the usage of that particular copyright under statutory provision, you are only set for whatever the statute provides for the damages in regards to those statutes, which means that you're going by a codified segment of what we want to do or what would we do for you in regards to relief, as opposed to common law copyright, where you can set the amount for violations in regards to whatever the case may be if you want for relief. But this is the thing. When you're dealing with a corporate structural system that has so far wandered away from common law, common practice of common law, and totally went to a commercial admiralty maritime regulatory standard of banking law, all combined into one, it kind of makes the waters a little muddy for people such as myself who stand on the common law side of things. I do not deal with statutory provision except as a point of reference for corporations. I do not enforce statute even upon myself, because I'm not a 14th Amendment de facto corporate citizen. I am a natural person that goes by natural law. Hence, the fact of the matter is, which is why we always choose juries from the public, because what's common to one is common to all, as opposed to statutory codes where you have to go to law school or you have to be educated in some form of law in order to interpret it. You see what I'm saying? Again, the two do not coexist, which is one of the reasons why I try to enforce and bridge the gap between common law and statutory law and where they both meet. Now, if indeed you do or have followed me and you've got the information within regards to common law copyright, trademark copyright, you want to keep your name from being misused or someone's trying to gain some sort of advantage off your name, you have the right, by all means, to notify them in writing. And you send them what I actually keep in my possession, a trademark copyright notice. And this is my common law trademark copyright notice. You know what I'm saying? And what you do is you take this and you actually go into the county records and you get an item number. Now, an item number is nothing more than a reference that you're saying you are making your document public policy. Now, public policy means particularly that you are putting the public, the commoners, the common people on notice as to enforcing something. It's the same thing as when you see legal notices published inside of a newspaper. I mean, people really don't read newspapers nowadays, but this is also making that public policy, which is why they say legal notices. You see what I'm saying? So If indeed you want to go above and beyond the call of duty, which is always great, so you can cover your eyes, you know what I'm saying, you dot your I's and cross your T's and cover all bases, you can put that notice and that item number inside of a newspaper. After 30 days of no one responding to it, no one rebutting it, and you're saying that these violations are necessary, irrespective of them being informed of it or not, they're still liable. Let me tell you, just because someone doesn't know about infringement doesn't mean that they still can't be held liable. That's the beautiful part about it. However, a tricky dicky lawyer would try to tell you otherwise because, again, lawyers are in the bed with the beast, period. And irrespective of lawyers viewing my channel, you may be a good person, but career-wise, you fucking suck. You know what I'm saying? Your career choice sucks. And you might be a decent person outside of the costume that everybody puts on every day called a career. But as far as you putting that costume on, you fucking suck. And that goes to all you attorneys and lawyers. But outside of the costume, you might be a decent person. It's not personal, it's just business. But copyright infringement consists of this: the unauthorized copying of a copyrighted work, such as downloading and sharing music without permission, which is commonly the most common thing, which I basically explained in the beginning of the video. Then you have trademark infringement. The use of a trademark, trade name, or trade dress that is the same or similar enough to the owners to cause confusion. Now, why do I say this? Because when you actually trademark your name, you are basically saying public policy, this name is off of fucking limits. Okay? Hence, like I said earlier in the previous video, you may get a citation, a traffic ticket, and here comes somebody wanting to offer their services. How the fuck did these people get your information? Instead of you being frustrated and getting upset and taking that documentation, ripping it up, tearing it up, throw it in the trash, and saying, fuck y'all, I don't want to deal with y'all, what you need to do is start making a lot of copies of your trademark copyright with your item number and send it back to them respectfully. You see what I'm saying? Then what you would do, if they do not respond, you let them know their violations, which means that if they send you a notice, you can open it, you can make a copy for your records, and you could also notate on the documentation you send to them. Let's just say you trademark copyright your name for every time they use your all caps name on a piece of paper. You could say $1,000 per violation, $1,000 per documentation per violation, $1,000. So if my name is on one piece of paper in all caps, trademark copyrighted by me, the natural person, if it's 3 times $1,000, that's $3,000 for just one piece of paper. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's $3,000 for one piece of paper. Now, how many times do you receive notices, documents, and other stuff from other entities that say particularly your name or the likeness thereof, I should say, is in all caps multiple times? So let's just be generous, $1,000 per page. So just say, per violation that's on the page. So if you get 6 pages and your name's on there 2 times per page, what you got? 6 times 2? Come on now. I mean, y'all do the math. It adds up. Now, what you're bringing forward to the court in regards to this infringement for trademark is saying that you're outlining, according to your affidavit that you sent to them, which is trademark copyrighted public policy with an item number recorded in the county records, you're saying particularly you violated and you are touching property that doesn't belong to you. Please do not contact me in regards to this situation. And I'm telling you right now, you owe me up to the amount of the sum certain in this documentation you sent me. If they do not wish to honor your agreement, which, of course, in the commercial world, somebody always has to play snake, which is corporations, they will basically turn around and be like, well, you know what? We ain't going to bother this person no more. Now, that's not good enough. Sometimes the only way to make people change, if not the best way to make people change towards you with their attitude, is hit them where it hurts, the pocket. Patent infringement, the unauthorized use of patent inventions, such as using all the elements of an independent claim without permission. Hence, that's how a lot of individuals of the melanated culture got robbed for a lot of inventions that a lot of people will not give us credit for to this day. But that's neither here nor there. Simple stat. You know what I'm saying? In case of infringement, the harmed party is the plaintiff and the infringing party is the defendant. If the court finds that the infringement occurred, i.e., that notice they sent you, You can prove it occurred because you have the proof. You have the evidence. Not what I'm saying, it's what I can prove. I have evidence. It will order remedies for the plaintiff, which is the harmed party, the infringed party. In intellectual property law, infringement does not need to be intentional, right? To be liable. This means that someone can be liable even if they didn't know the property was protected or thought the use thereof was acceptable. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, people. So I know a lot of people talk about, the trademark copyright. It works miracles for me. Because the reason why I'm telling you is because this is the beauty of it all. Everything that we deal with in commerce, they can only interface. Okay? They can only interface with the fiction. That means on your credit card. That means on your driver's license. That means on your state ID. That means on your college ID. That means on your that means on everything. Your court documents, every fucking thing. That's the only thing they can interface with because it's called a transmitting utility. It is allowing B to touch point A to go through C. Okay? So what they're doing is the liability is B. They attach it through adhesion to A, and they want it to go through C with acceptance and signature. That's fraud. Anytime you have your name directed to you, the natural person, it's what the system will tell you, but I'm saying it. I don't care anymore. I'm 36 years young. I ain't got shit but the truth to live for, so fuck them. They only interface with you based on the commercial status. So I know a lot of people freak out when they get bills and notices and shit. You're thinking it's you. It's not you. It is you particularly saying in a commercial stance. It's not you physically. It doesn't exist, people. So you send them a power of attorney, trademark copyright, and a nice specific negative averment to those people and tell them to politely fuck off. Because until you protect your intangible property, i.e. your name, has no physicality, but it does have an effect in the metaphysical realm we call life, then you need to protect that because that's the only remedy that they're using because it's attached to the exemption, which is the all caps name on the Social Security card. And the beautiful thing about the internet is just that I'm not the only person online talking about this because there are thousands upon thousands of people who are talking about it. But it's not so far-fetched as it would have been like a decade ago. Because people would have probably had to watch my video 2-3 times, but as knowledge abounds, as it says in the book of Joel, knowledge will abound in the end days, people. So take advantage of it while you can. You know what I'm saying? Watch how fast companies run in regards to this. And it also works good in disputes as well, because if you would like to file a dispute, i.e., say, for instance, false reporting, identity theft, you can actually allege that in regards to your dispute because most of the time when you actually dispute things that are delinquent or have been reported on your credit report, they allow you to upload documents. So when you upload those documents and you put that in your dispute, it's ironclad and they'll get rid of it. And all this is in less than 19 minutes. Man, I love the Most High because as me being a fountain of wisdom and me, every day I humble myself in regards to expounding upon this knowledge for people. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And I just want people to understand that freedom is one of those things that you can't underrate. Everybody talks about this is the land of the free, but everybody's fucked up in a social cluster. Now, there's a few people who really are not really trying to ruffle feathers. They're sort of like myself. We just don't want to ruffle feathers, start a revolution, or make some type of otherwise, biased claim to anything. We just simply want to be left alone. We want our resources to be to us. We work for them. It belongs to us. It does not belong to anyone else. You see what I'm saying? Right to ownership, if my name is on it and I claim it in my UCC1 and I claim it on my security agreement, I could care less what your laws say. You know what I'm saying? I could care absolutely less. You know what I'm saying? And if they want to charge you, as I said before, take them to trial and take your facts to trial with you. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. See, a lot of people get it confused because when I first started this journey, everybody tried to turn it into a movement, a wave, or a trend. No, this is simple. Everybody's not going to get it because most people are trying to get something from the system. When it's the other way around, the system's always trying to take from you, which is why you're faced with so much resistance when it comes to this stuff. Y'all want to go file these forms with these entities asking them for something that's already yours. Why are y'all begging entities when you already have all the power you need? Genesis 1:27 says what? Behold, we have made man in our image and likeness. What the fuck you asking these people for? These are faceless corporations. They rely on you to survive. It's not the other way around, but they switched it because they did it through deceptive practices. So the children of the kingdom understand you don't have to beg nobody. You see what I'm saying? You need to start putting these people in their place and stop and tell them, get out my motherfucking pocket. Whenever somebody asks you how much do you make a year, you should feel insulted. You should not feel happy to say, oh, I make $98,000 a year. Grandtastic. They're going to take that information and they're going to report that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now you have to realize ever since they passed that bill in February that so many people forgot about, if you make a certain transaction past $600, these folks in your ass. Don't y'all think it's time for y'all really to start waking up and start looking at things from a business aspect instead of a victimization aspect? I think so, because that's the way you get the best results and the most positive outcome for you to live a redemptive life. Period. That is it. I think a lot of people over the years have gotten this messed up because a lot of people are preaching this prosperity redemption shit. Oh, the government, you could get a house and you could do this. You could do. What the fuck? Do you understand that it's steps to this shit? And if you don't have all your ducks in a row, you're going to fuck yourself up. See, they're not going to tell you this. That's why I said my information is for general purposes, just to give you the explanation from the law standpoint. Now, I do have consultations I do provide for people on a case-by-case basis because everybody's stuff ain't the same. So I tell you this. I tell you this in good spirits because this is the sign of the times that y'all people need to start gearing yourselves up to stop being victimized. The only way for you to change any type of tyranny against you is to stand up in bravery and tell them, fuck you. But tell them legally in a polite way. That's all you got to do. You file this paperwork, you let these people know, hey man, back up. So y'all need to start getting on y'all credit. You could up your credit. You could up your credit in less than 90 days. Dispute everything. Everything on your credit. Everything. Dispute it all. But make sure you submit them documentations. Because the CFPB is going to submit it to all them people. They're going to send them everything you put up there that you upload, they're going to send it to all them people. They want all the fades. And if you send them an unrebuttable affidavit that you already sent them before, you're going to get that thing wiped off. All of that, everything. Because they only give them up to 60 days, 45 to 60 days to respond. Again, with the right documentation in the right place and in the right entity, now we got third party involved. Now, you don't talk to me. Talk to them people. Rebut that affidavit that I asked you to do 6 months ago. I'm just telling y'all, man. Just telling you. This is the reality. This is the truth of the world we live in. It's business. But you have to be the manager. You have to be the CEO of your business. See, a lot of people want to come out here and talk about sovereign citizen. I say that on my channel. Ain't no such thing. We're born sovereign. But we sold our birthright. Well, our parents did. Because we were young and didn't know any better. We was infants. But at the same token, when you become of age, it's time for you to be the CEO. You know what I'm saying? Of your office of sovereign. That's why it's your duty to correct anybody when they say that shit. That was a coined phrase that the FBI used to disinform state and local authorities and make them say, we believe that the laws don't apply. When little do they know, we're applying the law all day long. So if anybody was to be a sovereign citizen, it would be them, because they're working under a false ultra-vires government that considers itself sovereign, but they're operating as citizens because they don't really know the law. They know procedure and policy. That's not law. Policy is not law. If you look at many laws and many codes and rules and statutes, they always use this one word. And whenever you use this word compulsory, that's force. They tell you have to register your vehicle by compulsory or other means. What the fuck is that? That's not law. That's tyrannical. But they'll turn around and say, because I don't choose to register my vehicle, that I'm tyrannical, I'm anti. No, because when you register something, you surrender the possession thereof to the authority. So no, I'm not registering my vehicle. It's not required. But I know the law that says that it isn't. It's not just my conjecture. It's years of hard-earned study. So when they say these things against people like myself who have a tendency to think outside the box, I'm just outside the box looking at who's still trying to construct it. That's all. I am a humble voice in the wilderness, protected by the will of the Most High. I ain't worried about shit. See, when I was living in the world and of the world and as the world does, yeah. But I always knew there was something wrong with this. I always knew we were getting used and abused. I always knew, irrespective of age, color, creed, race, origin, religion, or nationality. See, I know a lot of people have these splinter groups like, you got the Patriots, you know what I'm saying? You got the Moors, you got the Hebrew Israelites, you know what I'm saying? You got come on now. We're all affected by the same virus. But being affected by the same virus, that means that it's a common remedy, irrespective of your beliefs. We all are looking for the common remedy. Just that simple. Y'all stay tuned. We kicking it at a high gear. Love my subscribers. The new ones, welcome. We kicking it at a high gear to 2025. And that's just the way it is. Now, it is our job to do our due diligence. Walk in peace, walk in faith, walk in the light. Nothing can touch you. Not a hair on your head will be touched. Peace, light, love. Y'all stay tuned. Until tomorrow, I see you soon. Y'all take care.